Yo, what's going on? This is your boy Chris B, back at it again for the final week of No Stream November. I gotta say, y'all, it's been one hell of a month. One hell of a month. You know, we picked out 4 great films. I reviewed 3 of them, so now we're on the last one. The movie Moonfall. So I'm not sure what y'all think about this film, but like I said, for me, it's been about 3 years since I last seen it, and I gotta say, in those 3 years, for the short time it's been, it's I don't know where to put this movie, to be honest with you, because it's one of those things where I'm fascinated about the moon crashing into the earth to see, to see the side effects and everything like that. You know what I mean? That was a good, that was like a good plot, you know what I mean, for this film, plot point. But then you had all this extra complicated stuff where it turns out that it was a whole civilization before the earth was created, and everybody in that civilization were the ancestors of the earthlings. You know what I mean? And it's like, it was like some kind of dark matter or something floating through space that was destroying everything, like all living life that came near it or it encountered. You know what I'm saying? So the movie stars Patrick Wilson, Halle Berry, and John Bradley. And Halle Berry and Patrick Wilson's chemistry, for me, I would say it was there. You know what I mean? It was there. Like, you would think they were actual partners. Now, at first, when I was sitting back watching it, I thought the husband that was in the military, Halle Berry's husband, I thought he was like her ex or something like that, and they had a kid together. She was going to fall for Patrick Wilson's character, but no, that's not what happened at all. You know what I'm saying? I will say the plot, like I was saying before, the moon crashing in the earth and all of that. That, for me, that's a simple plot. I love simple plots sometimes, and they could have just stuck with that and found a way to keep it from completely destroying the planet. You know what I mean? But what kind of ruined it for me was what I just mentioned earlier. The whole civilization thing before Earth. You know what I'm saying? And then you had it was some kind of entity or something like that when they went into like this void, and Patrick Wilson's character was talking to, it was like an entity that took the form of his son. You know what I mean? And the entity explained everything that happened before the Earth's existence. Now, all of that for me was not really necessary. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how y'all felt about it if you've seen this movie, but for me, I felt like that was just extra padding because the movie is 2 hours and 10 minutes long. And it's sad to say that when this movie came out in theaters, the budget for this film, I had looked it up earlier, but the budget for this film was about $150 million. It only made $67.3 million in the box office. Like, man, this movie done flopped so damn hard. Yo, you would have thought it was a fish. I'm telling you, like, I hate to say it, man. Like, again, I'll watch this movie sometime down the road later on. Give it another viewing, because sometimes you might see something that you missed the first time. You know what I'm saying? But for me, I watched it for review purposes, and I was trying to make sure that I caught up with everything. You know what I mean? Now, the dialogue, and I'll admit it, I had stuff running, my washer dryer's running, so I had to turn it up a little bit just to hear the dialogue. You know what I mean? Because some movies, it's like you could barely hear what they're saying. You got to turn it all the way up. But then when the action starts, that's when you have to turn it down. So I had to keep turning it up, turning it down, turning it up, turning it down. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, man, I mean, it was pretty decent for what it was until near the end, where they added all that extra padding, the whole Earth storyline and all that, I really didn't care too much for that. You know what I'm saying? But overall, I would probably give this movie I would probably give it a 6.5 out of 10. You know what I'm saying? I mean, now the CGI in the movie was pretty decent. You know what I mean? I mean, there was certain points where, you know, it wasn't that impressive, but for the most part, it was pretty decent. The acting was top notch. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a scene where it was Patrick Wilson's son, Halle Berry's son, and her, you know, her son's caretaker. You know what I mean? They were, you know, trying to get to this, or trying to get to Patrick Wilson's son's house. You know what I'm saying? So, or, you know, on the way there, they got robbed by these 3 dudes. And then later on, they encountered the same 3 dudes. But at that point, you know what I'm saying, they managed to get away from their second time with the oxygen tanks. And so, yeah, man, the acting, like I said, it was pretty good. They did what they did. They did what they had to do because of what they had to work with. You know what I mean? The CGI, it was pretty decent. You know what I mean? The budget, $150 million now compared to, well, yeah, $150 million now compared to back then. It's not really too much for a AAA movie. You know what I'm saying? You see movies coming out nowadays with budgets of 300 million, 350 million, you know what I'm saying? Mainly Disney films, but yeah, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, I'll watch it again, like I said, down the road, and then after that, that's probably it. You know what I mean? It's one of those movies that's been in my collection, and I just skip over it to look for something else that I've been looking for. But yeah, Moonfall. If you haven't seen it and you're curious about it because of this review, check it out. You might think I'm, you know what I'm saying, just wrong, dead wrong. You might love the movie. You know what I mean? But for me, I like the movie until, like I said, until near the end. But hey, that's my review for Moonfall. So if you like this video, you know, comment, you know what I'm saying, so we can talk about it. Let me know what you think. I'm actually curious to see what y'all think about this film. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, most times I'm right about movies. You know what I mean? I'm not no kind of movie buff or nothing like that. I mean, I know a pretty decent amount about movies, you know what I'm saying? But I don't know everything there is to know about films, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, make sure y'all check us out next week, you know, Simply Live. Shout outs to Ebony Mitchell, aka Simply Ebby. Shout outs to Bishop, aka Robert Preston, and my guys over there at the Retro 4. Shout outs to John Zona from Zona Out Studios. Shout out to Will from What's Up World, aka Will P. It's Will P. And shout outs to my man Saute J. And I will talk to y'all later. Alright? Peace.